Okay, well, who do I have with me today?
Hey, I'm Fred Koehler.
It's Don Burns. Thank you for your time.
Cheers, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And thank you, COHatch, for letting me use this room. Fred Koehler, pronounced, from
Yep.
Ready Chapter 1.
That's correct.
You're over at Catapult. And we can start off by showing off that you are the Catapulter of the Year. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, Co-Catapulter of the Year, so it was a tie. There were two companies that were in the running for it, and we tied. So, and what's really cool about Catapult is, they've got kind of the entrepreneur center, they've got the maker space and the kitchen. So it feels like they should really give away 3. Because like the finalists were from each of those different categories. But yeah, so I tied with Banditas, which is a new restaurant here in town that's been hustling and making a ton of good progress.
And that's something to be proud of. So what is Ready Chapter 1?
Yeah, so Ready Chapter 1 gosh, I had this down. I've got this. If you were just ask me on the street, but since you're recording, I'm gonna flub all over it.
I got you.
But yeah,
Boom.
you got me. So I think what I tell people is it's a story analytics platform that connects publishers with writers. So basically, we created a system to sift through hundreds of thousands of stories and find the ones that are ready for a publishing deal. And we do that with crowdsourced data analytics. So basically, the writers give each other critiques on our platform. We study the analytics, and we've got our own algorithm that says, hey, you know what? Out of all of these stories, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These top 5 look like they're pretty close to being ready for a book deal.
That's fantastic. Where did this idea come from?
Well, my background's in publishing, so I always wanted to work in publishing. I was a cub reporter for my hometown newspaper, starting at 16 years old. I studied design in college, but it took me 10 years of chasing my tail to go from I want to write and publish books to I got my first book deal with a traditional U.S. publisher. So that process took 10 years, and it was so painful, and it took so long that, once I started to become successful, I was like, I want to build something for 18-year-old me that's going to help the next generation be more successful quicker, and that's kind of where the idea came from.
That's fantastic. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Sebring, Florida, of all places.
Okay, that's not too far.
Yeah, and it's it's weird because Sebring's a little more rural, so how I turned out to be artistic, journalistic, whatever. I don't know. We had cow pastures and orange groves, and then I just I just wanted to paint,
So your mom and dad, they weren't artists, or?
No, mom was a nurse. My dad worked at Walmart. So yeah, that's.
You never know where it comes from.
You never know where it comes from.
The ambition. So, can you remember when you said to yourself, "I'm going to write a book"?
Yeah, I think so, because I walked into my hometown newspaper, like I said, at 16, and I said, hey, I want an internship here. Will you guys give me a shot? And they did, and I think, they sent me out with a camera. It wasn't even mine, but they sent me out with a camera to take pictures of the dogs that were available for adoption at the SPCA. That was my first assignment. So, I'm out there taking pictures of these, puppies and old pit bulls and, all the dogs available for adoption. And 2 days later, I see my first byline in the newspaper. So it's by Fred Koehler. And at 16, my head just explodes.
The endorphins.
And I'm like, all right, this is what I'm doing for the rest of
dopamine or something.
Whatever I do for the rest of my life, it's gonna have my name on it.
Wow. So you got early success and chasing that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And so how did you're a published writer?
Yeah, I've had 9 books traditionally published through major U.S. publishers. I got my start in picture books for little kids. So I studied design, and I was working really hard, and I would send out novels, and I would send out, my ideas for chapter books and things like that, and I just wasn't getting good feedback until I started matching my art with the words. So I put my words, then I put the pictures next to it, and all of a sudden the publishers are like, oh, I see where you're going with this. And so over time, again, it took me 10 years redrawing my portfolio every year, writing new stuff every year. But I finally got my work to a place where the publisher were saying, you know what, you're ready. And then they offered me a 2-book deal. And then 2 books led to 4, 4 led to 8, and here we are.
So you know what the heck you're doing. That's fantastic.
I
That's
fake it really
fantastic.
well, yeah.
So tell me about how people who are potential or ambitious, they got that dream, that seed of wanting to write a book, how do they go about it?
Yeah, so there's a 99% rejection rate in publishing, which if you think about it, it's just like, that's so daunting. You know, if you want to be a graphic designer, for example, you go to school, you study graphic design, and then you find a place that needs a graphic designer, and you got a job. In publishing, they want the best of the best of the best, and that is all they will consider. So it's a really high bar to cross, and so the system that we designed at Ready Chapter 1, like when you post your work, it's a feedback exchange. So before you post your Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 or Chapter 7 that you've been working on, you have to give reviews to other people. This is like, that's the economy of our system, is you swap reviews back and forth. So if you post your chapter, once you've helped some other people by reviewing their stuff, you're gonna get critiques from other people, and it's based on your narrative voice, it's based on your character development, it's based on your plot. And so like all of those things are on a rubric, so you literally get a numeric story score that shows you where your story's at and how it compares to everything else on the site. So we can literally look at that and say, you know what? You're getting 5 out of 5 on character, 5 out of 5 on plot, but nobody understands your dialogue. So you've got work to do on dialogue. You got to go back and do some more work.
So it saves the amateur or the people who are developing so much time. It's like having your own pre-audience who can critique you and say, look, this is missing, this is how it goes. That's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I think about the 10 years that it took me to break in, I could get that level of feedback once every 6 months by going to a conference. And we've compressed that to a day. And so the ability to iterate quickly and improve is compressed. And I think that's like gonna help people get to their goal so much faster.
Oh man. So anybody, I mean, if it's a student, if it's an older adult, it doesn't matter who it is, your level of writing, start with Ready Chapter 1.
Yep.
Just start your dream. If you've always wanted that book out there, start with Ready Chapter 1. Get a 1 chapter feedback.
Yep.
And then reevaluate. Write Chapter 2, reevaluate.
Yep.
And by the time you get to the end, you're basically professional and ready to publish.
Yeah, so essentially we're looking for writers to get to like a 4.5 stars, you know, on every element of craft. And once we start to see people push towards those levels, that's the cream rising to the surface. But anybody can get there, and anybody can start there. We've had writers come onto our site, and the very first thing they post, everybody's like, "What? This is amazing!" And that's what most writers think they're going to achieve. But generally, everybody starts with a natural talent, something that they're very good at, whether it's voice or dialogue or whatever, but they're also going to start with a natural deficit that they need to improve. And it's once you pull those deficits up to the same level as your natural strengths, that's when you're ready.
So how many different, basically, because I'm not a writer, I mean, I remember being a kid. Oh, now it's coming back to me. Okay, a girlfriend and I broke up. And I said, I'm going to write a book about this.
Yep.
God, I never thought about that in years. Holy crap. Okay, so it doesn't matter who you are. Talent can be developed.
Yep.
Whether you were born with it, whether you develop on your own, if you have that seed of being an author, a writer, if you want information passed on to the next generation, go to Ready Chapter 1, do some reviews, you'll explain everything that they do, and critiquing to help everyone.
Yeah, and the basic site is free. So, you know, for everybody who's just wants to go in and give and receive critiques on their work, it's free to access. For the people who are a little bit farther along and are looking for more opportunities to get their work in front of agents and editors, we have a pro version of the site. But we even pull in those agents and editors for every 3 months or so. We'll do an open contest where anybody on the whole site, free or paid, can participate. And the winners, we're going to take their work and we're going to put them in touch with an agent, and they're going to get feedback directly from those gatekeepers that everybody's trying to get access to.
That's wonderful. It sounds like you've got to organize. If you want to do it on your own, you're going to take a nice long road. But if you go through us, we streamline the whole thing.
That's the vision, and like any vision, it's a work in progress. We have stumbled and stubbed our toes more times than I can count, and had a whole bunch of near failures. But people believe in what we can become, and that's the thing that an entrepreneur has to do. You have to cast the vision of what it could be, because now when I take our site and I show it off to publishers, they're like, oh, wait, you've got that level of data analytics on stories? No publisher has that level of data analytics. So now they're like, well, can you send us the top scoring stories on your site? So now the publishers are interested in us creating talent pipelines directly to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you get them started, doesn't take money, just take desire.
Just, yep, discipline. And attitude is huge. Like culture is everything for us, because if you come in thinking, hey, I'm gonna game this system, figure out how to win, you're not gonna be successful.
Yeah.
If you come in and you genuinely take the time and you give value to other people are gonna give value back to you, and you're gonna be able to grow and progress.
That is fantastic. Well, I'm glad you're in Lakeland. I know your reputation precedes you, and I really appreciate you being my guest. Thank you
Cheers.
so
Yeah.
much. So the website is actually Ready Chapter and then the #1.com.
That is correct.
Fantastic. Well, is there anything in the future that you want to predict?
Oh, where are we headed? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we've already had a couple of success stories. We've had people who have gotten, their agent after participating in Ready Chapter 1. We've had one person who has secured a 2-book deal with a major U.S. publisher after going through Ready Chapter 1. So, let's talk after we get our first, let's say 50. Let's say our first 50 book deals through Ready Chapter 1. That'll be a good milestone. We'll celebrate it.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Fred.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic day.
Thank you.